Hey, how's it going everyone? I hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. This video is going to be a great one because I am going to be going over 3 different money making methods for old school RuneScape, each of which have very little requirements and one of which has the possibility of making you 100,000 GP profit in less than 1 minute of work. So do me a favor, and if any of these methods help you out, then like this video and comment down below letting me know what your guys' favorite money making methods are in old school RuneScape. But without any more talking, let's get right into it. I want to start off by letting you guys know that I have just recently gotten back into playing old school RuneScape actively, which is actually why I'm coming out with this video, because these are methods that I'm actually using in-game right now. But let's get into the first method, which is one that requires nothing but some starting GP, and this is simply buying unfinished broad bolt packs from Slayer Masters. Now, the amount of money that you're actually going to be able to make per hour is going to entirely depend on the amount of money you have to spend on the bolt packs, but the amount of effort that's actually required to do this is bare minimum. With the clip that I'm showing you in the background, it only took me 6 minutes to burn through 1 million GP at the Slayer Master shop, and this 6-minute test netted me 17,000 GP profit and could have gotten me 34,000 GP profit had I wanted to wait to sell the bolts at a better margin. So if I had invested 10 mil on the unfinished bolts, it would have taken me an entire hour to buy all of the bolts and would have made me an easy 170,000 GP. This is an amazing method that I use when I'm watching Netflix with my wife while at the same time that I'm playing. I want to note that, as you can see in the clips that I have, the unfinished bolt packs restock insanely fast. Fast enough, actually, that you will not have to hop worlds in order to continuously do this method. Be sure to check the margins on these unfinished broad bolts though, and make sure that they are selling for between 57 and 58 GP, because the margins are a little bit tight on this method. But let's get into a method that is truly my favorite money making method in old school RuneScape for 2 reasons. The first reason being it is insane range experience. I average between 72 and 76,000 range experience per hour here, and the second reason that I love this place is because it's just so easy. If you have the proper setup, you really can just almost AFK this place. And that method, of course, is Aviances in the Wilderness. This place, especially nowadays, can gain you some major GP, and it's below level 30 Wilderness, which is even better because on the rare chance that someone tries to PK you, it would be an easy teleport. That is besides the point though, because all of the time that I have spent here, I have seriously only run into PKers twice and have gotten away from both of them. Anyways, I am going to go over the details of how I use this method and then share with you guys the amount of actual profit that I made from one trip out at the Aviances. As you can see, my inventory was 264,000 GP in gear. This was including 200 nature runes, which, as you will see at the end of my trip, I ended up with more than 200 nature runes. So really it was only around 215,000 in inventory supplies, as well as 5,000 Zulrah scales and 4,000 adamant darts. I bring all of this up so we can deduct it from the profit at the end, but instead of timing out an hour of Aviances, I decided to do this entire trip and then share with you guys the profit that I gained at the end. As you can see from the clips in the background, now that Aviances drop ecumenical keys, they are an amazing source of GP per hour, as well as a constant 72,000 plus range experience per hour. And if you were to use another method like rune crossbows or something, you would lose perhaps a little bit of the XP per hour, but you would most likely gain more profit. or you would for sure gain more profit because you wouldn't be having to spend as much money on Zulrah scales, which are just through the roof right now. Once I finally finished up my trip, I had used 1,750 Zulrah scales as well as 763 adamant darts, which I will be adding into the total cost of supplies, which now is up to 698,000 GP. We're just going to round that up to 700,000 to make it easy. So let's jump into all of the loot that we got in just around an hour and 20 minutes at the Aviancies. As you can see from the alkables alone, we made 517,000 GP, and most of that is from ecumenical keys. And as for the loot, we made a whole whopping 661,000 GP for a grand total of 1,178,000 GP. After taking into account the cost of supplies, we are looking at a total of 478,000 GP and 100,000 range experience in just around an hour and 20 minutes of Aviancies in the wilderness. I love this method because it can be very AFK and it just trains range so well. The money that it makes is really just a bonus. Finally, we are going to be talking about the money making method that I am most excited about. And if you made it this far into the video, please let me know down in the comments by commenting "I made it." But this method is 3 parts really, each of which make different amounts of money, but all of which revolve around Ranarr herbs and prayer potions. One part of this method can literally gain you 100,000 GP in a matter of minutes, so let's jump right into it. First though, I need to disclaimer this method by stating that Ranarr herbs and prayer potion prices fluctuate like crazy, so this is something that you need to be very careful and calculated with. Be sure to always check and maybe even double check the margins before you do anything, otherwise you could end up losing a lot of GP. As you will see in these clips, I am checking the margin of Ranarrs, and the margin in itself is actually huge and could be something that you use to flip with in itself. But part 1 of this is going to be cleaning the Ranarrs. So I had 3 million GP to experiment with, so instead of doing this for an entire hour, I timed out what I had with the GP I had to use, and we can do some math to figure out what exactly you could make per hour. So with cleaning the Ranarr herbs, I was able to clean 276 of them in 2 minutes and 55 seconds, which I am going to round up to 3 minutes just to make the math easier. But doing 276 of these in 3 minutes would equal 5,520 cleaned herbs per hour, and at a profit of 62 GP per cleaned herb, this would net you a total of 342,000 GP per hour, not to mention the Herblore experience that you would be getting in the process. This and the next part of the method require 25 Herblore, but the method that can make you 100,000 GP in under a minute does not require anything, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But the second part to this method is making the unfinished potions. This one doesn't gain you any Herblore experience, but it does gain you over twice the amount of GP per hour. So I took the 276 clean Ranarrs and 276 vials of water, which cost me 3,010,000 GP, and I made them into 276 unfinished Ranarr potions, and this took me 6 minutes. And it gained me a whole 81,000 GP in profit, which would equal out to 810,000 GP per hour, which is absolutely insane for something that requires so little effort. But finally, let's talk about this last method, and as you will see in the clip, I had made 100,000 GP profit in literally like 30 seconds. This is something that really is super dependent on what the margins are at the time, and also how patient you are in waiting for the supplies that you need, which is simply 3-dose prayer potion. You will see in the clip that with almost no waiting at all, I was able to grab 291 3-dose prayer potions at a mere 10,300 GP each, and was then able to turn those into 218 4-dose prayer potions, which sold at 14,205 GP each and gained me 99,000 GP in the process. This is insane and took no time at all, but it actually makes a little bit of sense because for the most part, people only purchase 4-dose potions. And when people are making potions, they are only made in 3-dose. So the amount of people that must be mass training the skill must heavily outweigh the people that are actually spending the time decanting these potions. But be sure to check and probably double check the margins on this because it could turn that profit into a loss real quick. That's all for this video. Thank you all if you made it this far. I appreciate it more than you can even imagine, and I will see you all next time.